Now is the time for turning. The leaves are beginning to turn from green to red and orange. The birds are beginning to turn and are heading once more towards the south. The animals are beginning to turn to storing their food for the winter. For leaves, birds, and animals, turning comes instinctively. But for us, turning does not come so easily. It takes an act of will for us to make a turn. It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we have been wrong. And this is never easy. It means losing face. It means starting all over again. And this is always painful. It means saying, I am sorry. It means recognizing that we have the ability to change. These things are terribly hard to do. But unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways. Adonai, help us to turn, from callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love, from pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment, from carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith. Turn us around, O God, and bring us back toward you. Revive our lives at the beginning, and turn us toward each other, Adonai, for in isolation there is no life. We tremble. At what did we aim? How did we stumble? What did we take? What did we give? To what were we blind? Last year's confession came easily to the lips. Will this year's come from deeper than the skin? Say then, why are our paths strewn with promises like fallen leaves? Say then, when shall our lust be for wisdom? Say now, love and truth shall meet, justice and peace shall embrace. O hope of Israel, in our weakness give us strength. In our blindness be our guide. When we falter, hold our hand. Make consistent our impulse for good. Let us know the joy of walking in your ways.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasechvi vina lechavchin bein yom uvein laila. Blessed is the eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has implanted mind and instinct within every living being, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids, who makes firm each person's steps, who provides clothes for the naked. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Blessed is the eternal our God, who has made me free, who brings freedom to the captive, who has made me a Jew, who girds our people Israel with strength, who crowns Israel with glory.
soul you have given me, O God, is pure. You have created it, you have formed it, you have breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it, so long as I have breath. Therefore I will give thanks to you, my God and God of all ages, source of all creation, loving guide of every human spirit.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed is the eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, and who commands us to engage in the study of Torah. Elu divarim she'ein lahem shiur, she'adam ochel perotehem ba'olam hazeh v'karen kayamet lo le'olam haba. These are the obligations without measure. Their fruit we eat now, their essence remains for us in the life to come. To honor father and mother, to perform acts of loving kindness, to attend the house of study daily, to welcome the stranger, to visit the sick, to rejoice with the bride and groom, to console the bereaved, to pray with sincerity, to make peace when there is strife, but the study of Torah equals them all.
Divine Creator, we have come together to pray as a congregation. Each of us is strangely solitary in your presence. Each of us comes before you with special hopes and dreams. Each of us has personal worries and concerns. Each of us has a prayer no one else can utter. Each of us brings praise no one else can offer. Each of us feels a joy no one else can share. Each of us has regrets which others cannot know. And so we pray, if we are too weary, give us strength. If we are discouraged, give us hope. If we have forgotten how to pray, remind us. If we have been careless of time, forgive us. If our hearts have been chilled by indifference, warm them with your memory, and inspire them with the Holy Spirit of your holiness.
Yitkada v'kada shemei Rabba, ve'amad divrach yirtei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabban mevorach, ve'olam kulom ne'omai Shaba, Vipa'ar, Vichaman, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmedakudasha, Rehu, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiram Bilma, Ve'imeru. Amen. Please rise.
Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Zoer or uberei hoshech, Osei shalom uberei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit, Ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai, Kulam b'chochma asita, Malah ha'aretz kinyanecha, Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, Al shevach maseh yadecha, ve'al mirei or she'asita yafarucha sela, Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer hameorot.
For the good within us, which calls us to lead a better life, we give thanks.
For the beauty and majesty of the created world, we bring our praises.
Partners in creation, may we honor our planet as good and decent caretakers.
Let us rejoice in the great abundance that nature provides.
May we be ever conscious of the fragility and balance of the earth.
May we celebrate creation at every opportunity, never losing our sense of wonder.
Blessed is the created world and the constant flow of energy directed to us.
May we receive our blessings with gratitude, ever aware of the gifts that are uniquely ours.
We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embrace, touch, soothe, and counsels. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love.
Adonai
Adonai Elohecha bechol vavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvleftecha b'derech u'shochbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam leot al yedecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'vishavrecha leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
God is one. God gives power to the sun and brings warmth to the human heart. Whenever we fight for freedom, the Eternal is with us, and when our ancestors struggled to break the chains that bound our people to Egypt. God, our Creator, teach us to love freedom as we love life. Help us to understand that only when all are free can any of us be truly free. Let none be masters and none be slaves. Then shall we sing as our people did when we were free from Pharaoh's restraint.
Say
Please rise.
Hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel hasadim tovim, v'koneh hakol, v'zocher hasei avot imahot, u'mevii gila livnei bneihem, leman shemo be'ahava. Moshia Umagain, Baruch atah Adonai, Mayin Abraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rab Le'Hoshia, Mechayei Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayim Emunato, Ishenei Yafa, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elah, Melech Me'nit Umechayim, Umashiach Yeshua, Michamocha Avraham, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol.
On the day of renewal, we can decide, and on the day of repentance, we can determine. Barosh Hashanah Yikatevun, Uvyom Yom Kippur Yechatemun.
Who shall truly live and who shall cease to live, although in the midst of life?
Who shall attain fullness of life through sharing, and who shall cut herself off from living by selfishness?
Who shall be consumed by the fires of arrogance? Who shall be quenched by the waters of despair? Who shall be cut down by the sword of envy, and who shall be devoured by beastly hatred? Who shall hunger for love, and who shall thirst for friendship? Who shall be shaken by the rejection of sacred values, and who shall be plagued by the scorning of cherished virtues? Who shall be strangled to silence, and who shall be stoned into submission?
Who shall find rest in home and hearth, and who shall be beset with anxiety and doubt?
who shall have a life poor in accomplishment, and who shall have a life rich in satisfactions.
Who shall bring himself low in dejection? Who shall raise herself high in glory?
But all have been gifted with the power of
Teshuvah, tefillah, tzedakah, changing, resolving, doing. Utshuvah, utfilah, utzdakah, ma'avirin, et roah hagzerah. May we use wisely the gifts which these days of renewal and repentance bring.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemadishim oto b'shnei marom, hakatuv hayad nevi'echa, v'kara zeh zeh ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot,
Please be seated. I had a paint box, each color glowing with delight. I had a paint box with colors, warm and cool and bright. I had no red for wounds and blood. I had no black for an orphan child. I had no white for the face of the dead. I had no yellow for burning sands. I had orange for joy and life. I had green for buds and blooms. I had blue for clear, bright skies. I had pink for dreams and rest. I sat down and painted peace.
are strong-willed and stubborn, but you are merciful and gracious. We are stiff-necked, but you are slow to anger. We are full of error, but you are full of mercy. Our days are like a passing shadow, but you are one whose years shall never end.
Please rise. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Our God, God of our mothers and fathers, grant us that prayers may reach you. Do not be deaf to our pleas, for we are not so arrogant and stiff-necked as to say before you, our God and God of all ages, we are perfect and have not sinned. Rather do we confess we have gone astray. We have sinned, we have transgressed. Please be seated. Oh, please, yeah, no. For the wrong we did before you by listening to voices at odds with what we knew was right. For the wrong we did before you by not listening to voices telling us unpleasant truths. For the wrong we did before you by closing our ears to the poor and the hungry. For the wrong we did before you by not working at relationships. For the wrong we did before you by making no time for those who needed us. For the wrong we did before you by polluting our environment. For the wrong we did before you by unnecessary anger. For the wrong we did before you by talking of others' failings behind their backs instead of face to face. For all these sins, O God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
For the wrong we did before you by forgiving in Jews that we condemn in others. For the wrong we did before you by giving in to bullies.
For the wrong we did before you by ignoring the ever-present threat of war.
For the wrong we did before you by cutting ourselves off from people of other races and cultures.
For the wrong we did before you by being afraid of others' disabilities.
For the wrong we did before you by callous treatment of those with whom we live.
For the wrong we did before you by callous treatment of those with whom we work. For all these sins, O God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. For the wrong we did before you by bearing grudges. For the wrong we did before you by indulging in excessive luxuries. For the wrong we did before you by giving less tzedakah than we could afford. For the wrong we did before you by taking Israel for granted. For the wrong we did before you by manipulating others for our own gain. For the wrong we did before you by making those we love feel guilty. For the wrong we did before you by ignoring important issues in our community and country. For the wrong we did before you by being ashamed to act morally in public. For all these sins, O God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
Please rise. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu Hachazirenu Bitshuva Shlema Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you in full repentance.
Avinu Malkeinu Salech Umchal Lekol Avonotenu.
Avinu Malkeinu,
forgive and pardon all our misdeeds. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olalenu V'Tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our children. Avinu Malkeinu Chaleh Dever V'Chera V'Ra'av Me'alenu. Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine. Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Inscribe us for blessing in the book of life. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, let the new year be a good year for us. Avinu Malkeinu Aseh Imanu Leman Shmecha. Avinu Malkeinu, help us to exalt your name in the world. Avinu Malkeinu Kabel Barachamim Uvratzon et Tefilatenu. Avinu Malkeinu, in mercy accept our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu Chanenu Va'anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Beit Yaakov lechu v'nelcha be'or Adonai. O house of Jacob, come let us walk by the light of Adonai. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Praise be the one who in God's holiness has given the Torah to the people Israel.
Tipti Choir Juniors.
אתם ניצבים היום כולכם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם, ראשיכם, שבטיכם, זקניכם ושוטריכם, כל איש ישראל. טיפכם, נשיכם וגרך אשר בקרב מחנך, מחוטב עציך עד שואב מימיך. לעברך בברית אדוני אלוהיך ובעלתו אשר אדוני אלוהיך כורת עמך היום.
למען הקים אותך היום לא לעם והוא יהיה לך לאלוהים כאשר דיבר לך וכאשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב. ולא אתכם לבדכם אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת ואת העלה הזאת, כי את אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו, ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום. You stand here today, all of you, before your God, the heads of your tribes, your elders and officers, your men and women, your children, even the strangers in your midst, from wood chopper to water drawer, to enter into the covenant which Adonai your God is making with you this day. You will be God's people, and Adonai will be your God, as was promised to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. I make this agreement not only with you who are standing here this day, but also with all those who are not here with us this day.
And for our second aliyah, we call up all the Tipti Choir seniors.
Ki hamitzvat oto asher anochi mitzavcha hayom lo niflet hi mimecha velo rechoka hi lo vashamayim hi lemor mialech lanu hashamayma vikahecha lanu viashmenu ota v'naasena velo mever layam hi lemor miaver lanu elaver hayam vikahecha lanu viashmenu ota v'naasena. Ki kavod elecha hadavar me'od beficha uvevavcha v'na'asoto. This instruction I share with you this day is not too difficult to understand, and it's not beyond your reach. It is not in heaven that you would say, who of us can go up to heaven and get it and teach us so we can observe it? No, this teaching is very close to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'toveinu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten haTorah.
for the third aliyah, I call up the Tipti board.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Re'eh natati lefanecha hayom et hachayim ve'et hatov ve'et hamavet ve'et hara asher anochi mitzavecha hayom lahava et Adonai Elohecha lelechet bidrachav v'lishmor mitzvotav v'chukotav v'mishpatav v'chayiti v'raviti v'rachecha Adonai Elohecha ba'eretz asher ata v'shama l'rishta v'im yifne levavecha v'lo tishma v'nidachta v'hishtachavita lelohim acherim v'avadetam higdoti lachem hayom ki avod tobedun lo ta'arichun yamim al ha'adama asher ata over et hayarden lavo shama l'rishta ha'idoti bachem hayom et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz ha'chayim ve'ha'mavet natati lefanecha ha'bracha ve'ha'klala uva'acharta b'chayim למען תראה אתה וזרעך לאהבה את אדוני אלוהיך לשמוע בקולו ולדבקבו כי הוא חייך ואורך ימיך לשבת על האדמה אשר נשבע אדוני לאהבתך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת להם. See that today I place before you life and goodness, death and hardship. I command you today to love Adonai your God, to walk in God's ways, to keep God's laws and rules, so that you will succeed and grow and be blessed in your new land. But if you ignore my laws and instead serve other gods, you shall surely perish. You shall not live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan River to possess. I call heaven and earth as my witness this day. I have placed before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your children will live. Love Adonai your God, follow the commandments, and remain close to God. Then you will have a long life in this land that God promised to your ancestors. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Please rise.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem Hanemarim be'emet, Baruch atah Adonai, Habocher b'Torah, u'Moshe avdo, u'Yisrael amo, u'vin v'yeh ha'emet v'tzedek.
God says, "Cry out fully and let your voice sound like a shofar. Declare to my people their sins. They seek me daily, as though they truly wanted to learn my ways, like a people that is doing what is right. They delight in the nearness of God. They say, 'Did you not see us fasting? We starved our bodies. Why do you not notice us?' Because on this day of fasting, you still oppress your workers. Your fasting leads to argument and pain. This kind of fasting is not heard of by God, a day of self-inflicted misery."
No, here is the fast I have chosen, that you unlock the shackles of injustice, loosen the ropes of the oppressed, that you share your bread with the hungry, bring the homeless poor into your house, that you give clothing to the naked and pay attention to the needs of your brothers and sisters. Then shall you bring light and healing to the world, and God will walk alongside you in all you do. Only then, when you call out to Adonai, will you be heard. Only then Adonai will be your guide, renewing your strength, and your garden will be overflowing. You shall rebuild the ancient foundations and restore the streets in which to live. If you honor and remember the Shabbat day and call it a delight, then you shall truly enjoy God's blessings. Then I will cause you to ride upon the heights of the earth, and you will be as well fed and blessed as your ancestor Jacob.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Tzur kol ha'olamim, Tzadik v'chol hadarot, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Ha'medaber u'mekayem, Shekol devarav, emet v'tzedek, Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, ve'al yom ha'kippurim hazeh, Shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Likdusha v'limnucha, L'chavod u'tifaret, Al ha'kol, Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu modim lach, U'varchim otach, Yitbarach shimcha, B'fi kol chai, Tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh ha'shabbat v'Yisrael yom kippurim.
Please rise. Yahalilu et Shem Adonai, ki nisgav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, whose name alone is exalted. morning, Vietnam. It's 0600 hours. What does the O stand for? Oh my God, it's early. Good morning, Vietnam. You're not perfect, sport. And let me save you the suspense. This girl you've met, she's not perfect either. But the question is whether or not you are perfect for each other. Good Will Hunting. You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win, no matter what the outcome. Patch Adams. Carpe diem, seize the day, make your lives extraordinary. Dead Poets Society. When I learned that Robin Williams had died, I was deeply saddened. The world had lost a funny, brilliant, and kind man who shared his talents and his resources with all of us. Upon hearing the news, I must admit I thought it was a joke. TMZ was pulling a prank on social media. When I realized it was true, I thought it was from an accident, or maybe he died suddenly of a heart attack. I later learned that was not the case at all. Robin Williams died from a terrible illness that affects millions of Americans, does not discriminate by age, gender, sexual orientation, or economic status. He died from something that no one likes to talk about because of the social stigma associated with it. People avoid the subject, whisper about those who suffer from it, turn their backs, and walk away. Robin Williams died by suicide from depression. Even his life circumstances could not protect him. One sufferer described depression as, I quote, having nothing to do with who you are, how much you earn, how popular or famous you are, unpopular or unknown you are. It just is. Like cancer is. Like asthma is. Like diabetes is. Some people get it. Some people don't. It is an illness, and it must be viewed and treated as such. We must end the stigma. It is becoming so detrimental to our society that just the other day, I heard a commercial on Cities 97 asking our community to fight against this stigma. The ad was sponsored by the Make It Okay campaign, a new effort being piloted right here in Minnesota to end the silence around mental illness. This is a step in the right direction, but the mission is difficult. We live in a society that tells us to be happy all of the time. All we have to do is log onto Facebook to witness this point of view. The self-selecting shares of our friends and family reinforces the idea that everyone else is enjoying an enviable vacation, job promotion, engagement, or anniversary with a doting spouse. It is natural to only want to share what is extraordinary and exciting in our lives, but it gives the perception of perfection rather than the reality that our lives are wonderfully messy and complicated. It is no wonder that individuals and families feel the need to keep their depression a secret. The message is they are the only ones who are struggling. The media, magazine covers, and news stories convey the message that only the poor, the homeless, the unsuccessful struggle with their mental health. Only the perfect can compete in our society. Everyone else fails. All one has to do is look at fashion or teen magazines to see that pop culture sells an impossible ideal. A person must be perfectly thin, perfectly tall, perfectly muscular. So many of our high schoolers and even those in middle school and grade school feel they must play an instrument perfectly, speak a foreign language perfectly, and get perfect grades in order to be accepted into an elite university. If they don't do all of this, then the rest of their life is doomed to failure. Depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, anorexia, these do not fit into the unrealistic stereotypes of what makes a person thrive and happy. Yet everywhere we look, there are remarkable people who do not fit this mold. All the accomplished people I know have struggled. These are not always the stories published, the anecdotes told, but they always exist and frequently form the basis for success. Yet somehow we think that facing turmoil is the exception rather than the rule. We forget that Steve Jobs never graduated from college, that Jim Carrey suffers from depression, that Ashley Judd overcame an eating disorder, and that as a teenager, Winona Ryder suffered from panic attacks. Let us seize this day and say to each other, it is enough. Enough of asking people to hide. Enough of asking them to keep secrets. Enough of our loved ones bearing this burden alone. It is time for us to end the stigma of depression that is ingrained in our culture. It is time for us to stop making unwarranted assumptions about those who struggle with their mental health. We must stop assigning blame. We must stop underestimating others' abilities. We must do this for the rising numbers of teens who attempt suicide every year. We must do this for our parents, our siblings, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, and our friends whom we love so much. Our tradition can help us change the conversation, for in it we find great leaders who suffered from depression. King Solomon, known for his wisdom and justice, was one of these leaders. The rabbis teach. One day, King Solomon asked his most trusted minister to find a ring that, upon looking at it, would make a happy man sad and a sad man happy. Spring passed and then summer, and the trusted minister had no idea where to find this ring. Finally, he decided to take a walk in one of the poorest quarters of Jerusalem. He passed by a merchant who had begun to set out the day's wares on a shabby carpet. Have you by any chance heard of a ring that will make the happy wearer forget his joy and the broken-hearted wearer forget his sorrows? He watched the elderly man take a plain gold ring from his carpet and engrave something on it. When the minister read the words on the ring, his face broke out into a wide smile. The minister returned to King Solomon. "Well, my friend, have you found the ring?" The minister held up a small gold ring and declared, "Here it is, Your Majesty." The jeweler had written 3 Hebrew letters on it, Gimel, Zayin, Yud, which begin the words, Gam Ze Ya'avor. This too shall pass. You see, even the king needed a reminder that he could overcome his depressive episodes, and that through the good times and the hard times, when he was successful and when he stumbled, he was a valuable and worthy leader. If God did not deem depression to be an inhibitor of King Solomon's leadership abilities, who are we to judge? Our tradition is full of strong, powerful, extraordinary leaders who face personal challenges. Judaism does not ask us to be perfect or to hide ourselves. In fact, it does quite the opposite. It asks us to confront ourselves. It understands that individuals have many struggles in life, and this only adds to their character. In a few weeks, we will read from the Torah portion, Vayetze, where Jacob wrestles. It is unclear who he wrestles with. The text is ambiguous. There are many explanations, but the one that resonates most with me is that Jacob wrestles with himself, with his past self, with his demons, with the actions he has taken that haunt him. He is forced to uncover all of his secrets, the ones he has kept from others and the ones he has kept from himself. In the end, his struggle brings him blessing. Jacob confronts his fears and wins. For this, he is given the name Israel and an entire nation is named after him. Not only is he given a blessing, he is a blessing. But this comes at a cost. Jacob leaves this encounter with a limp he has forever. It is his reminder that through our struggle and our pain, we can encourage ourselves and each other to lead more fulfilling, more engaging, and more meaningful lives. Not one of us will make it through life unscathed. We all have to confront challenges. They may be financial or relational. They may be academic or health-related. Some will endure abuse or addiction. Confronting these alone only makes the burden that much heavier. Hiding our struggles leaves us depleted of energy and hinders our ability to recover. When we acknowledge our hardships, we find others who can help us, support us, and understand what we are facing. We can work together to create spaces where it is safe to discuss our feelings, to uncover our vulnerabilities, to reveal our complex selves. We are able to allow one another to be the imperfect, wonderful human beings we all are. Only when we talk and discuss, educate, and examine will we be able to end the stigma associated with depression. And it is possible for us to do. We have been able to destigmatize other issues in our community. Remember when cancer was spoken about in a hushed voice for fear if you talked too loud, you would get it? Remember when people thought you could contract HIV from sharing silverware? Through conversations and education, we were able to reverse these notions. And today, there are support groups for those fighting cancer and their caretakers. And we understand and are able to treat and prevent HIV. By ending this harmful stigma, we make our community live its Jewish values of B'Tselem Elohim. Everyone is created in God's image. The defining text on Yom Kippur, which we just read, is from the Torah portion, Nitzavim. God sets before the people life and death. This day I call upon heaven and earth as witness. I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your children shall live. As long as we whisper, we tell others that depression is a curse and we are inhibiting their ability to live. We must end this detrimental behavior. We must choose life for ourselves and future generations by fighting the battle that will bring healing. We must speak frankly, openly, and honestly. Only in this way can we help end the stigma that causes so much shame. Only in this way will everyone have the support to fight this illness. Only in this way can we be sure that everyone is given the opportunity to be a blessing in life. For, as Robin Williams' character said in Hook, to live would be an awfully big adventure. Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful to be down here again. It has been many years. And actually, a fellow congregant of yours made an appointment with me earlier this summer and said, we need to see you downstairs. So, see what happens when you ask for something? It is truly wonderful to be here because this service has always been, from the time I arrived and even before, a place where our youth have found leadership. And what's amazing is that you all choose to come here because of their beautiful voices, the intention they lead services with, and their true love of what it means to lead a congregation in prayer. Now, this year, we need to thank them a little bit further, because you need to know that this service, if you haven't figured it out, was a little truncated. It was needed to be brought in at a certain time. So at 10:30, we could have literally over 700 tots and their families in the sanctuary. And I'm telling you, it's like the old days around here, and I like it very much because it means that people are coming because we're listening to them and we're making sure that our tots and their families are coming not at nap time, but at the time before they take a nap. So that's wonderful. We had a few meltdowns, but not many. These kids actually made sure that this service was brought in time, and they did it with grace and compassion. But I love the fact that they stood up when a particular song or two were taken out because of time and said, no, you're not going to let us not sing that. That's what we want from our youth. We want them to stand up when it's important to them, and we want them to understand to be flexible with grace when that's needed as well. And these people right in front of you have done that beautifully. So I thank all of you and thank them on your behalf. And I am here to give a benediction. So if you can all rise. Again, I want to, before I give the benediction, remind you our study session is next door in about 15 minutes with youth from the Somali community who are fighting extremism. And as I like to say, everybody is asking for those in the Muslim community to speak up. Well, we have found young people and a group that they've created. They're going to the White House to talk to the president. They are fighting extremism, and it is powerful, and I just hope you can join us to hear their voices. And so now I offer these prayers. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Adonai our God and God of our foremothers and our forefathers. Thank you for passing the Torah down to us so we could pass it down to the next generation. They are carrying it strong. They are ready to make this wonderful tradition their own. They are making it more beautiful than we could have ever imagined. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God who creates peace in the heavens bring peace to all of us, to our world, to our neighbors, to the torn Middle East, and to Israel, as we say, Amen. Gemar Chatima Tova. May you be sealed in the book of life. Shana Tova.